Well, let me ask you something. When you are preparing for a listing appointment, what do you actually focus on? Your CMA, your marketing plan, your stats, your presentation? Maybe you rehearse your answers to the commission objection. Maybe you practice the entire close, the entire script from the A to the Z. And I'm not saying any of that is wrong. That stuff does matter. But here's what nobody is preparing for. The first 60 seconds. Because sellers make their decision about you before your presentation even begins. Before you open a single folder, a single sheet, before you pull out a single stat, they decide how they feel about you the moment you walk through the door. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what's happening in those 60 seconds and how to make sure that from this point forward, you're the agent they choose every single time. So let's get into it. Now think about the last listing appointment you went on and didn't get the signature. Really think about it. You were prepared, you knew the market, you had the numbers, you showed up on time, and you think you did everything right. And they ended up choosing someone else. And the worst part, you probably went home and started fixing your presentation, updating your CMA, tightening up your marketing plan, practice the better answer to the commission objection, etc. And I get it because that feels productive. That feels like it's the right thing to do. But here's what I want you to really consider. What if, and I mean what if the presentation was never the problem? What if the decision was already made before you said a single word? Because here's what actually happens in a listing appointment. Everything that comes after the first 60 seconds, the stats, the marketing, the plan, the close, all of it is just the seller looking for a reason to confirm what they've already felt about you when you first walked in. So look, you can have the best CMA in the market, the most impressive marketing, the sharpest close, etc., and still lose the listing because of what happened before any of that. That is why nobody is talking about it. And that is exactly what we're going to fix today in this video. So look, sellers don't choose the most knowledgeable agent out there. They choose the agent they trust the most. And trust is not built through information. It's not built through statistics or marketing plans or beautiful presentations. Trust is built in seconds through presence, through energy, through how you make someone feel the moment you walk into that home. Now, most agents walk into a listing appointment in one of two completely opposite states. State one, they are in their head. They're running through the presentation, thinking about the commission objection, wondering if other agents already came through, calculating what they need to say to win. And the seller is going to feel all of that. They can't name it, but they feel it. It's just nervous energy, a trying energy, and I need this energy. And trying energy does nothing but repel people. Now, state number two, completely present. You're walking in calm, grounded, like you're really curious about this family and their situation, not thinking about winning the listing. You're thinking about the person sitting in front of you. And the seller will feel that too immediately. That agent feels completely different, makes them feel safe, trustworthy, like someone who actually gives a damn. And that's the agent who gets the listing. Not because of what they said, because of how they showed up. Look, I had a client, her name is Donna. Sharp agent, knew her market inside out, beautiful presentation, spotless CMA, and she was losing listing appointment after listing appointment to agents she knew were less qualified than her. So first thing I asked her, I said, hey Donna, I want you to walk me through what happens in your head the moment you pull up to the house. Walk me through what happens in your head the moment you pull up the house. She said, honestly, Chadi, I start panicking. I start thinking about who else they're meeting with. I start wondering if commission is going to be an issue. I'm rehearsing answers in my head before I even get out of the car. That's exactly what she said to me. And I said to her, Donna, that's exactly why you are losing to agents who are nowhere near as good as you are. Hey there, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of it. And if you're ready to take this information to a whole new level, like literally learn the art and the science of how to get one or more listings every single week, well, I got something for you. I'm going to be running a virtual event, and you can register for it by clicking the link in the description below. So if you're ready to level up and become a top listing agent, you know exactly what to do. Let's go. So I said it's not your presentation, it's not your knowledge or lack of knowledge, and it has nothing to do with your numbers. What's really happening inside you before you even ring the doorbell is the reason. You see, the seller is opening the door to someone who's already in a state of proving themselves. And people don't trust someone who needs to prove themselves. They trust someone who already knows who the heck they really are. So here's the shift. So look, there's a difference between showing up to get a listing and showing up to give value. The agent who shows up to get is focused on themselves, on winning, on not making mistakes, on saying the right things. The agent who shows up to give is focused entirely on the seller, on understanding their situation, on helping them make the best decision for themselves and their family. And here's what's going to sound counterintuitive. The agent who shows up to give gets the listing almost every single time. Why? Because the agent is rare. The agent feels completely different from every other agent who walked through the door, and sellers recognize it immediately, even when they can't explain why. That's what presence actually is. Not confidence in the performance sense, not standing tall and speaking loud and having all the answers. It's the ability to walk into someone's home and make them feel like they are the only thing that matters in that moment. That is what wins listings every single time. So let's get into exactly how you build this in real life. Number one, control your state before you walk in. Before every listing appointment, sitting in your car, before you get out, I want you to do three things. First, I want you to breathe 3 slow, deep breaths in. Not because it sounds nice, because physiologically, it shifts your nervous system out of anxiety and into calm. You cannot be present when your body is in fight or flight mode. The breath brings you back. Second, I want you to remind yourself who you really are. Not what you're going to say, who you are. I want you to say it out loud right there in the car. I am the best decision this seller is going to make today. I'm not here to win, I'm here to serve. Get into a state of certainty before the door opens. Third, I want you to set your intention. I want you to ask yourself, what do I want the seller to really feel by the time I leave? Not what I want them to decide on, not what I want them to do. I want them to feel understood, safe, confident, etc. That becomes your entire job at the appointment. Number two, I want you to focus on asking before you start speaking. See, most listing appointments look like this. You walk in, you introduce yourself, you show your stats, you present your marketing plan, you talk commission, you handle objections, and you ask for the listing. A monologue with a question at the end. Here's what the best listing appointment actually looks like. I walk in, you sit down. Before you open up your presentation folder, etc., before you share anything about what you do, you just say, I'd love to understand your situation, Mr. Seller. Can I ask you a few questions? And then you ask questions like, hey, what's your reason for selling? What's the most important thing to you about this move? What does your ideal time frame look like? What's your biggest concern about the whole process? And then this is the part most agents skip. You shut the heck up and you actually listen. Not listening while thinking about what you're going to say next, actually listening, following up on what they said, going as deep as you possibly can. You mentioned timing, Mr. Seller, is really important to you. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Or you said you're nervous about pricing. What's driving that? And when you do this, two things happen. One, you get information that no other agent in the house has gotten before you. You know exactly what the seller needs, fears, and wants, and everything you say after that speaks directly to those things. Two, the seller feels something they almost never feel with an agent. They feel genuinely understood. And the moment someone feels truly understood, they trust you. And the moment they trust you, the listing is won. It is yours. The third thing I need you to do is I need you to get good at reading the room, reading the sellers, and then adapting to that. See, every seller is different. Some are analytical. They want data, processes, every step mapped out. Some are emotional. They've lived in this home for 20 years, and this is not just a transaction. This is a chapter in their life closing. And most agents show up the same way to every single appointment, same energy, same pace, same presentation. Top listing agents, we read the room, we read the seller, and we adapt. We mirror the seller's pace, their tone, their energy. If the seller is slow and thoughtful, we slow down. If they're fast and decisive, we match that. If they're emotional, we acknowledge it before we go anywhere near the numbers. Something along the line of like, I can tell this home means a lot to you, Mr. Seller. Tell me about it. That one sentence has won more listings than any CMA ever written. Because it tells the seller, I see you as a human being, not as a commission. And nobody else said that to them prior to them meeting you. Number 4, don't be afraid to bring up commission early. You know what kills most listing appointments? The commission conversation that ambushes everyone at the end when the energy is already gone. So here's what I do instead. Bring it up yourself early, confidently. You just say something along the line of like, Mr. Seller, I want to address my compensation up front. I'd rather talk about it now than have it lingering, hanging over our conversation. I charge what I charge because of the results I deliver. But first, let me understand exactly what you need, and then we can figure it out together if I'm the right fit. See, that completely disarms them because every other agent either avoided the conversation or got defensive about it. You just walked in and owned it. And that confidence tells them everything they need to know about how you're going to handle negotiations on their behalf. That's presence. That's trust. That's the listing. That is how you win. Look, you've lost listing appointments to agents you know you're better than. And now you know exactly why that's been your experience. It wasn't your skills or your script. It was whether you walked in trying to get something or trying to give something. It was whether you showed up needing the listing or genuinely there to serve the family sitting across from you. So look, the sellers who chose the other agent weren't wrong. They chose the agent who made them feel something. The agent might not have had better stats or better skills, but they had better presence. And here's what I need you to hear. Presence is not a personality trait. It's not something you either have or you don't. It's a skill. It's a practice. And it gets sharper every single time you walk through that door. Walk in calm, ask before you tell, listen like it's the only conversation you'll have that day. Make them feel like the most important person in that room because in that moment they should be and they are. Now you know why you've lost listings. And now you know how to win listings. By the way, I go deeper on this, a lot deeper, once a month at a live masterclass I do where I teach you specifically what top agents are doing right now to get 1 or more listings a week. I'd love to see you there, meet you there, and help you there, and guide you there, and mentor you there to your next listing. Click the link in the description below and get registered now. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.